Aggregating and summarizing of data is at the core of data analysis. To be good at data analysis, you need to understand how aggregation works. I'll be introducing a new keyword, group by, that is normally used with a lot of aggregate functions. And we will go through a lot of examples where we are using group by clause. Group by can also be used with a roll-up keyword. All this will make sense when we go through the examples in our lab. So we have a list of aggregate functions. If you look at the first table on the left, we have average, count, maximum, minimum, and sum. These are some of the common aggregate functions that you can use on the dataset. If you look at the table on the right, these are statistical functions that you can apply on numerical data in your dataset to derive standard deviation and variance. So I have put together this diagram to just show you how the aggregate functions, when they're applied to the data, would look like. So this is just an imaginary table with customer ID and payment column. And if you see on the right hand side the syntax to actually apply the aggregate functions on the payment column, so it's select sum, open bracket, and the column that you want to sum on, and then close bracket, comma, and likewise you can put average, min, max, comma, and count one is going to give you the total number of records in the table from the given table. So once you run these aggregate functions, you will get a summary record. And that summary record is going to add up all your payments, average the payment, give you a minimum, maximum, and the count of the record. This is a quick way to get your summary statistics. So in this example, we are not using group by clause yet. We will use that at a later example. So if you look at the payment table in our database, it has an amount field. So these are all the amounts that customers paid when renting the movies. So we want to get the minimum payment, maximum, average, total, and then also the number of transactions we have. So we're going to use aggregate functions, and it should give us one record. So let's run that. So if you see, we get one record back summarizing the data in the payment table. So the amount field has the minimum payment as being 0, maximum payment being $11.99, average total sum of the payment, and then the total number of transactions we have, which are 16,049. So this is a quick way to just get a summary data from a table by using these aggregate functions. If you look at the diagram, what the group by does is that it partitions the table based on the customer ID. So if you look at partition 1, there are 4 transactions that customer 1 did with 20, 30, 30, and 40. So that partition is going to get aggregated, and you will see one record for customer ID 1. Same thing with partition 2, 3, and 4. So the group by is basically isolating and aggregating each customer's data. If you look at the syntax, there's a new addition to our previous SQL, which is a group by customer ID. And also we have added that in the select piece of the SQL as well. So we are adding a customer ID, comma, and then the aggregate functions that are going on to the payment column. This is a very powerful SQL statement that is used number of times in multiple projects. So if you get to understand this SQL, it will really help in your data analysis activities. For this lab, we'll be creating an employee table. So just run this create statement and the insert statements, and you should be able to see an employee tables record. So we have ID, employee name, department name, salary, and age. So this is the data that we loaded right now. So we want to see the total salary per department, and also we want to see the number of employees in that department. So to get that data, we need to group by department name, right? So that would be our partitioning field. Whatever group by column we use, we have to use it in that select as well. We're going to sum on the salary, label it as total salary, and then we're going to do a count. And this count is going to go per department, and that'll be the total number of employees. So let's run this. Great. So we see that for each department, we are able to get the total salary and we are able to get the total number of employees. So such a simple group by statement has produced really important information that can be used by the business. So let's take another example. Keeping the SQL the same as the previous one, we'll just add the with rollup keyword after the group by department name. So what this does is that it adds another record apart from what we already get from the group by and gives us a total summary record along with the group by records. So if you see the last record, so it added up all the salary column and added up the employees column. So the total salary is 44,000 and the total number of employees are 11. So this rollup gives us a summary record that gets added to the group by results. So it can come really handy when needed. So if you want to filter the group by results, you can use the keyword having and then the group by column, and you can use an operator to filter the records. So if you see the example, we are saying having sum of payments greater than 120. So by using the having clause, it's going to only bring back those customers where the sum of their payments is greater than 120. So if you look at this table, the sum of the payments for customer 4 is greater than 120. The rest are less than 120. So that record is going to be returned. So having keyword can be used to filter group by records further. If I just run that piece, what we did before, so we're going to get a job, production, service, and sales with their total salaries in that department and the total number of employees. So now if we want to filter this result set to only show those salaries where the sum is greater than 18,000, only production record should show. So we'll use the having keyword and then do sum salary greater than 18,000. So only production record should show. Let's run this. Great. So you can see that having keyword can be used to filter group by records further.